Hello everybody, welcome. Just want to introduce Colin.
Take off the Are you ready?
Oh, here we go.
Great.
Looks like we're on.
We're on.
Good evening,
Wait,
everybody.
we can see everyone.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Swings and Roundabouts, put on by Business Station. This is our first one of this series, so hopefully you get a great deal out of this today. Standing in front of me right now, or sitting in front of me, I should say, is Kelly Chisholm. Kelly runs our small business, women in small business programs, I should say, and was instrumental in us winning the Telstra Business of the Year for accelerating women in business. On my right over here, we have Paul Dunn, who's our business coach, and both of these guys currently have their own small businesses. They've run small businesses. They've got a great deal to offer. I hope you get a great deal out of it today, and I'm going to pass you over to these guys and let them have a little conversation, and hopefully you get a great deal of benefit from it. So thank you very much, and over to you, Paul.
Thank you, Colin. Okay, welcome guys. Want to welcome you to tonight. So you just want to start off, Kelly?
Well, I guess it's first of all just the introduction to Business Station for people who don't know us.
Okay.
So we've been running for the last 10 years and Australian-wide helping small businesses, which is actually businesses between that 1 and 19 employees. That's the way it's kind of categorised as
Yes.
small business. So we've been doing, I can just see a few more people here, so I'll keep admitting them if you see me looking down.
Yeah.
And
We're
now
also
got,
in our
what, how many?
20th year anniversary. So
Oh.
did you know that, Business Station?
Oh, since it first started in terms
Yeah.
of the original organisation,
Definitely.
we've helped more than 20,000 businesses across Australia, which is fantastic. But one thing I've learned since we've been doing all this business support is that business is about swings and roundabouts.
It is, yeah. I like to, look at it, the ups and downs of business, but it's probably not a good title for this one. So swings and roundabouts is really fits the theme of what we're trying to do here tonight. So.
Yeah, and you've got to be incredibly resilient in business to, what's up, Cole?
Do you want me to do that for you?
No. I mean, you've really got to be resilient in business, and you really got to actually, keep learning and growing, because otherwise it actually is quite difficult if you're just going through the hardships of business and the dips. So we're going to do a 1 month, once a month, first Wednesday of the month. We're going to do a half hour. You can write to us and say, hey, I'd love you to talk about this hot topic. We're really happy to do that. But we're going to and we're just going to stick to the 6:30. We actually are going to check out because the holidays, I know everyone, we've all got things to do. Let's not think it's all information based. We can only give, one kind of concept, can't we?
Fantastic.
Each time we come
definitely.
together.
So we'll have a certain topic each month. If there's something that you want to hear about or you're struggling with, then just please share it with us. We'll try and bring that into a topic at the start of each month, first Wednesday of each month, and try and help you along that little bit. But
So if we say, we get straight into it. If we say that, what would you say is the biggest challenge that most businesses, both of us do business coaching, as well as run our own businesses.
Yes.
So what would you say is the number one challenge that most businesses come to you with?
Look, because I've run my own business and a lot of businesses over a lot of time, and a lot of my clients, their biggest challenge is lead generation.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the one thing at the top of their mind, getting more leads in the business, more customers, more clients within their business. So I hear that a lot, day in and day out.
And most people would come and say, how can I really increase my lead generation and what are all the concepts we talk about?
For sure, it's all the strategies and the actions about generating new leads. But it's what I do see a lot in the clients is their existing customers.
But in the let's say the new customers, people are looking at websites, social media, a lot of online.
A lot of online, a little bit of offline. I mean, the online is a lot of buzzwords for a little while now, so people have gravitated online. They're not doing it as well as they should, okay, and that's why they're not getting the results. Because their main objective is getting new customers.
I know.
I mean, that's their main objective.
And I think that's what we're both down. But, one thing what we really want to focus in on today is the fact that existing customers, retention of existing customers is incredibly important for every small business owner.
Definitely.
And I know for myself that, we call it repeat business often.
Yeah.
But it may not be consistent repeat business. It may be people periodically, but retention of existing customers is really a strategy that I think most small businesses should have a comprehensive plan around, as opposed to the idea of promotion and marketing to new customer base. What do you reckon about that?
Oh, look, yeah, definitely, I think so. I think the key to success is having that plan in place, or that journey of how you're going to nurture those existing customers, the people that have bought from you before, right? And as I've with a lot of my clients, I've realised is that if you nurture the customers that have bought from you before, right, they're more likely to buy from you themselves, but they'll also become what I call a raving fan or an advocate for your business.
So we're going to talk. We get towards the end. We're going to talk about 5 tips for to retain customers. So let's just kick off this idea about what's the value? Why retain
the customers in the first place?
So the first thing that I'd say is that obviously their potential, they are a real customer. So they really are someone who has actually bought a product before. So they think your product or your service is something they really are interested in.
Definitely.
When you're going to new customers, or even if you've got, you've worked out, your ideal avatar. We have all that. We can drill all down, but you still don't know if they're going to want what you've got to sell, right? But your existing customer, what you know is that they have been a person who has actually bought what you've been selling. So I'd suggest that idea about, if you want to make sales, then an old customer is a great person to go to.
Yes.
But the second thing I've got is that it's a case of building loyalty. So you become the preferred provider, so that when they do want to buy that product, even if it's not this time round, at some time in the future, they come back to you if you're the preferred customer, right?
Yeah. Well, it all comes back to that know, like, and trust key that we go through. And, until somebody's actually bought from you, that know, like, and trust is still a big barrier. But once they've bought your product, they've tried your service, whatever you're delivering out there, that know, like, and trust goes through the roof because they now start believing in you. So you've just got to take it to the next level. But as I said before, a lot of clients focus a lot on that new customers rather than focus on the existing customers.
And not only would they be loyal for you, but they become your brand advocates, right? Which is that next thing. Oh, I can hear somebody talking in another room.
So the biggest thing that I find in clients is that they don't have a process of nurturing their existing customers.
No.
So,
And can I just say this one thing? The other reason why you really need to do this or think about this is that's actually 5 to 10 times more expensive to attract a new customer than it has to go back to an old.
Okay.
So when it comes straight out just to money, so I guess I'm asking the question though of anyone who's there, you can put, by the way, questions or any comments into the chat section that you'll have in your, and we'll check out the chat section, but because we've got quite a few people here, it's much more difficult just to take questions off the floor. But if you drop it into the chat section, if you can keep your eye on that,
I will do.
That'd be great. Because it really would be great for you all to put in there now, how many of you actually do have a sales plan or a marketing plan that you've got specifically for existing customer base? And can I say, which we'll get to a bit later, that does not mean that they just join your general database and you just send them out the same email as you send out to everyone else.
Yeah. So when you talk about database, what do you mean about a database? What's a good database, do you think?
Well, I reckon that's one thing I think. I guess there's 2 questions I'd ask, which relate to this idea about, do you have a plan that's actually for existing customers? And the first question is this: are all your past customers the same? Right?
Okay.
You've got to know that. That's a question. I say no. You've got to be able to just like your new customers are going to have, your old customers have got to have points of difference. Yes. You've got to be able to differentiate between them when you're going to communicate with them. So you've got the people who buy only when there's a sale. You've got your sales buyers, You've got your people who buy in bundles.
Yes.
They buy, people who buy at particular times of the year, people who buy based on a referral. So you can have a lot of people who are distributors.
Yes.
Right, who are not just single buyers, or people who are just, you've got to be able to differentiate.
So do you think it's a good idea to start segmenting those within your database, so you've got an idea of those people buying habits, right? So you can then reach out to them in different areas, right? Especially what I found too is that when a lot of clients get new products in, right, new technology, new ways of doing their business, they don't communicate that out to their existing customers, people who bought them from before. Normally, it's only the new customers that they're actually marketing to. Right?
Yeah.
So do you think there's a big opportunity to keep in contact and communication with your existing customers or your past customers in new items that are coming in, if you're an e-commerce store, for instance?
Well, I'd suggest that what we talked about, how you capture that information, is critical for all past customers. So I'd say that if you want to have a database that means something, it's more than someone's phone number, email address, and whatever you consider to be their actual personal details. For me, I kind of think about with my business, what did the person purchase last time? That's a real. Did they purchase in a bundle?
Yeah.
That's nothing. I would suggest, did they purchase a sales item? Did they tell me who they referred from?
Yes.
What are the things that I can know about that client and that customer, so that when I actually start to differentiate of sending them any information, if you buy, say, for example, from a beauty, a product that sells beauty products, and then it sells, clothing range, and then it sells, their, footwear range. And I'm a buyer, which I know of one particular store, and I buy in their beauty products. I do not want to hear about all the other products.
Yes.
I don't want to hear about
You only want to know the products that you're interested in.
I go, this is only thing I've ever bought from you is in this line. And I just think it's really interesting that we as business owners don't always have a real clarity around that.
Okay.
And exactly what your customer's interested in.
Yes.
And therefore, when you go back to them, you've got to know something about them.
Yeah. Would you go to the extent of actually finding a little bit more personal information about them? So like birth dates or whatever, so you can then reach out to them for a birth date or anything?
I think it's
especially
fantastic.
in that product.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. Come on, when we all think about some of those big stores who can capture that information. They send you their voucher.
Yes. Or the birthday voucher.
The crazy thing, I get a voucher and I go and spend it. And I always spend more than the voucher.
Yeah. So with that database can be expanded into a little bit of their interests as well, as their personal information. So then you can reach out to them, especially when I know myself, when birthdays come around, I get these vouchers, as you said, from different people that I bought from before, come in and get things as well. But that's only because they've captured my birth date in their database.
And I think, this is another one we'll do another time. We'll talk about the whole CRM and getting people's, capturing the right information about people. We'll actually do one of these webinars, and we'll get a couple of people in who are specialists around different kinds of databases and CRMs. I think that could be really helpful.
Yeah, that might be a good.
But what would be good for you to do now, and I don't know if you've got that. Did you see how many people did have an existing plan? We got people there yet in the chat?
I don't think the chat's working.
In the chat.
I haven't got anything come through, so I'm not quite sure.
We've got a couple.
Okay. You probably got them on yours.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, some people are in the process of creating one, no plan, but they want one, different emails for existing customers. What's the best way to get leads?
Which is at the top. It's something that I hear about all the time. What's the best way of getting leads? And there's no right answer to that. It's an individual thing for each particular business on what they feel comfortable with, and comes back to their database and how they've nurtured their database as well.
So I would suggest that if you when you want to go and look for a database, and we'll talk about somebody who can come in and help you, give us some advice on that. What you've got to know for yourself is what do I think is the most important information I do need to know about my customer.
Yes.
Right? Because you can't send them a whole questionnaire with every question you've got on it.
No.
They're not going to give that to you.
And that'll come to your personal business.
You might actually be doing you might be staging your information, how much you need. So, you have a lead generation on your website where you capture one load of information. Once they buy from you, you ask them another question.
That's right.
Or two questions.
Yes.
So you're actually progressively building a profile. No, most people these days are very resistant to giving a lot of information about themselves until they become a customer.
A customer, yeah. And because as I said before, that know, like, and trust has blown out. They're more likely to share some information with you. So as I said before, it might be just a process that you start taking people through. But it's just about nurturing those existing customers, I believe, anyway.
And sometimes people won't. Someone did talk about birthdays there. A lot of people will give you your month and your year, but not, or even just a month.
Yes.
But not want to give a specific date. And that's that's why you've got to think this through. What information, and what point would people want to trust me with that information? I mean, I think it's important to have a privacy policy, for example, on your website or on a page, so it actually shows that you are really mindful of people's privacy and that you actually will honour that.
Yes.
So, and that's part of us, really developing. So I just thought that's not something to leave until you've kind of got a business of a certain size, which is often what people do.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll use Excel and then one day I'll get to that.
Yeah, for sure.
I
remember an experience that I had when I was running a cafe myself. I used to capture people's details as much as possible. And one of the things I did capture was their birthdays. And I would send them out a voucher for them to bring in with their partner for a birthday dinner. But it included to bring 2 other people with them as well, 2 friends, so they could enjoy that experience, their birthday with their friends. And what happened was when we talk about new leads, new customers, that was a lead generation just from nurturing existing customers. So, I sent a voucher out. People had bought from me before, come and dined in the cafe before. Their birthday came, I sent them a voucher for 4 people. They would bring 2 friends as a little bit of a birthday gift, which is then encouraging new people to come into the cafe.
So a lot of the questions that people are asking are things like, how do you get people to trust you?
Yeah.
And I would suggest that one thing that I've always used is the staging of information, because then as people know you over a period of time, they actually will tell you a bit more.
For sure.
I think most people feel really, it's quite confronting when we have this lead generation and you're asking a whole lot of questions. We don't want to answer them. So I think if you want to build trust, you deliver a great product and a great service, and over time, and perhaps where we're going to get to now, which is our first 5 big tips, to try and get past customers to our future customers. Maybe that speaks to this a little bit.
Yes.
Right. So we're going to come up with these 5 tips. So I think one thing is that you say thank you nicely whenever someone uses your product or service.
Yep.
So I think you can do it in different ways. I think packaging or presentation is really important. And I've even had it where something's come and there's been a little stick on the front that says thank you. And it's beautiful.
Which brings up a good point, because when you think of it, I can't remember the last time that I bought something or I've purchased a service and someone says thank you for doing that. I can't even remember the last time. So it brings up a good thing is, and it's just that personal touch, isn't it? That you walk away with that good feeling that you've been appreciated.
Yeah. And that's one thing when I've done with packaging is try and make it look really lovely and always have something that says thank you on it.
Okay.
And it's just a little, I think that people do get a surprise. Oh, that's actually really lovely. So I think one thing is saying thank you really nicely to people is something that most people do value.
Okay.
Right. And the second thing that I have is that there's an acknowledgement of loyalty to past customers, that you make it a bit personal. Right? So the word I have is, the first word was nicely, the second word is personal. So in other words, that's when you do something like you value discount card.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
So you're rewarding it for acknowledgement.
So how funny that when we want to get a new customer in, we give them all these benefits.
Yeah. But we don't give it to our existing
customers.
We
often don't give it to, in fact, sometimes we can say only available to new customers.
Yeah. Seen that a bit. So.
I find that really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's taken me a lot less to find you the second time around or third or fourth time around. Why wouldn't I want you to become the one I reward?
Definitely.
But often we have the opposite. Now, if you're giving a really huge discount, I understand it. But if you're just going to give a reward, value card, do that for existing customers, because they're the ones who've already used your service, or you give them a value add. If you're an existing customer, you'll get this.
Yes.
As an extra.
As a little bit of an extra, yeah.
If you're a new customer, sorry, you're going to have to buy something else. That's an existing customer. I'm going to give you a little reward. I've actually got the birthday or a special occasion or a postcard to existing customers with something funny on it. Postcards are a really cheap way of communicating with in a different way these days. I'm not even talking online. I'm talking about sending something as a mail out. But doing a really great little quote card or something they can put up on they can keep, but it's something often funny or that says, haven't seen you in a long time, and You know, just
it's the wow factor, isn't it? It's
a
what
real
we're doing.
personal.
It's the real personal wow factor. It's
Yeah.
like exceeding somebody's expectations. They're not expecting it,
no.
so then you'll really be front of mind in front of them. So they're more likely your
And
customers.
if you have
will
a
come back.
database of, 300, it's just a really good thing that you can think about how do you look after and cultivate that group of people. So I think that acknowledgement of their loyalty is really important.
Yeah, definitely.
So you with me on that one?
Oh, without a doubt. I think, I think that customer service, that, that, as you say, rewarding your existing customers, I think has gone wayside. I don't think a lot of business spend enough focus on actually doing that. Right. And as you said, they really put in all those campaigns and those strategies and actions to getting a new customer rather than just rewarding the people that already bought from them.
It's interesting how we do that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the third tip that I had was that you look for recommendations and referrals from existing customers. Now, they say that about 11% of existing customers say they even asked for a referral.
Mm-hmm.
And 90% say they would give one if it was a good service or a good product.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So I think most of us, and so I've got a local dentist, and not my dentist, by the way, business dentist, but she was telling me how she does, they ask her for referrals or say to her, and then every time she does one, they send her a little gift.
Oh, okay. So just a little bit of reward for that, sending that referral through.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that idea, not just, so if you want to, and I think also those existing customers are a fantastic way of you getting information.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to do like a, little focus group about a question, something you've got coming up, you just approach, you just say, look, I'm only asking 20 of my customers this question. Yep. I'm not asking all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd love to give this as a little reward.
Yeah.
So I think because what you're doing when you're doing that, it's not actually just the information you're getting from them. It's actually, you say about building trust, it's this ongoing asking something from each other and then giving something to each other.
Definitely, yeah.
And
it's interesting because, as you said before, people want, and, my experience is that a lot of clients or business owners that I've worked with, their main aspect is getting new customers.
Mm-hmm.
But they've always putting a lot of money in marketing and getting those new customers.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking about that, the value and the referrals from your existing customers, right, it doesn't cost a lot of money. It's just a little bit of time, that little bit of focus around it, right? So, if you've got a lot, if you're a business owner out there right now, you're struggling with cash flow, right? But you know that you've got to do something to generate more leads, then it might be just take one step back and look at your existing database right now and look at referrals. Who do they know? Because I've found that, a lot of my existing or old clients, right, they know at least 3 to 5 people that could be using my services. So it's just a matter of addressing that. But as you say, put a reward in it. What's in it for me to, for them to refer?
And I really think it's always that really being clear with people that I only want you to refer if you actually value what I've got.
For sure, definitely.
Do you know, it's almost trying to build a real culture around the fact that this is actually not a transaction. As much it is about trying to build a relationship. So that's why I think it's really important to have a plan. And people say even if you've got an e-commerce business, well, it's the same strategy of writing to people. Perhaps I'd actually say that the clarity is that if you want to cultivate relationship, the number one strategy for that actually is email.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
Yeah. It actually is email. That email is incredibly successful. It's just, I think the main problem with email, and most of us would all experience this, when you just get the same generic email from a group that has gone out to everyone. That's
so there's no personal touch to
that's
it.
when you just start to unsubscribe.
Yeah.
I unsubscribe. But I don't unsubscribe from someone who's giving me targeted, which is maybe the last point here, which I'm saying communication is got 4 and 5 points. 4 and 5 here must be regular, but it also must be relevant.
Okay. Yeah. So a bit of consistency out there.
It's got to be consistent, but it actually has to be relevant. So maybe in this, so particularly, coming back to your old customers with the special offers, but again, it has to be relevant. So if it's just this broad sweep, I'm going to send you the 20 specials of this week, which mean nothing to you. I think that's when we unsubscribe.
Yeah. Okay, I agree.
But when someone says to me, which I've got a couple of people who I always keep on the mailing list, because every time it comes, I know that they know what I bought from them.
Yes.
And I know, and they'll give me an update, like a tips around, I'm not going to go into my personal details, but they give me a story, or they give me some updated research data, which relates to something that I've been interested in.
Okay.
Then I read it.
Yes.
But if I get that generic email, which just tells me everything about you, I just don't read it. So
very good tips.
Yeah,
Thank you for
I
sharing.
think they are. So if it says, I said here, stories are great, right? Telling someone's story, but again, not just like, they really, if you're going to ask people, maybe a little tip on this, if you're going to ask people to give a testimonial, don't just let the testimonial be, tell me, why you love or what you think about our product. They say, I think it's great. I really love it. Like everyone will say that.
Yeah.
You've got to get a specific question. Like, tell me the one reason why you bought my product.
Okay. So get really, really specific about the question.
Because then 10 people will give you 10 things.
Okay.
You're not going to have up on your website, I love this product because, it made me feel good or something. Because someone else writes, I loved it because of the packaging. I loved it because of the way it smelled. I loved it because, I love that service because of the quality of the cutter or whatever it would be. I think you always have to get very specific in your questions so that your testimonials, again, they're personal and they have a ring of truth to them, as opposed to, I really like, Patty because she's a nice girl. We all don't. We don't take any notice of those testimonials. Okay. We really don't.
So really testimonials that are going to really be relevant to the people that are watching.
They've really got to have that. So don't. And perhaps this is all feeding back into that question where we started from, which is being able to segment your database.
Yeah.
And understanding you have different customers, and you've actually got a sense of you can't get too specific, but you've got some categories. Okay. And when you write to them with something information. So we've got 3 minutes to finish off here.
Yeah, definitely. So where do we go from here?
Well, first thing we can say is we've got another Swings and Roundabouts coming up next month on the 4th of May.
Okay, yep.
You'll be ready for that one?
I will definitely be ready for that one.
You're going to lead that one?
I will definitely do that one. So when's that on? That's Wednesday, April 5th.
Yeah, I think we don't need that on yet, We've got but April 4th, May the 4th, today's April 5th, May the 4th. And that one's going to be marketing versus sales. What's the difference between marketing and sales? A lot of people come to us and they're always talking about marketing, but I really think one of the critical things is not yet. That's not the what's happening. We've lost the plot.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I'm just trying to.
We've got sales. Sales is actually making the sale and not just talking about the marketing plan. So that's one thing we want to talk about next month. So that'll be great, won't it?
Yep, it definitely is.
Now we've got the other things we've got available right now, which I'm going to just talk to is one thing is our Uplift program.
Yep.
Uplift program is a starter program, which is a small group coaching program that we run. And we've got one of those coming up for mixed groups, which is this one. And we've also got one that's women only.
Okay. So that's the QR code for the mixed one?
That's for the mixed one.
Okay.
And they are they're a 3-month small group coaching program, which we run both online and in person. So you can come in person into a head office in the city, or you can be online and participating in that. So we'll send you out the links to that.
Okay.
But the thing we're also remembering that if you sign up for one of these programs, we'll also do a special webinar offer, which is a 45-minute personal business coaching.
Which is this one?
The individual business coaching session.
Okay.
Which is for all registrations that received out of this webinar, they will get.
So that's with the mixed one and the ladies only event. Get the 45
women's only small business.
Okay.
And sometimes it really can be fantastic to do it women's only setting. But there's also the mixed group, which you're going to run, and I'm going to run the women's one.
Fantastic. Okay.
How's that sound?
That sounds absolutely fantastic. So it's a real no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah, we'd love you to sign up for that. And that's a way of us. You can click that off. Let's just go back to you and me. And that's the way that we all look at business coaching. And I think a small group program is not only better, obviously, because it's better cost-wise, but it's also better because you actually do hear other people's ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, when you actually get together with a group of people and you're talking your ideas.
Yeah, there's a different dynamics in a group environment, isn't it?
It's really, really valuable.
Looking forward to that. Definitely.
4th of May it is, Jane. It's definitely the Wednesday, because Wednesday is the 4th. I very much hope I didn't get that date wrong when you say that. Oh, you're right. Gosh, Jane, look at me. 3rd of May. I'll change it over.
Okay.
Thanks, Jane. Thanks for pointing that out. Fantastic. So how do you break through the white noise and disrupt questions are coming through, and how to make the emails targeted? We're going to have to keep these questions. I think it really, the next one, which is marketing versus sales, might be really helpful.
Might go into it, yeah. So the next one is obviously around marketing versus sales. So I will dip into that little bit of how to get past that noise, because there isn't a lot of noise out there. I mean, as I said before, the buzzword is that online marketing, trying to get that past that, with a lot of the Facebook and a lot of the online platforms. That's where a lot of businesses are gravitating to. And, in the first initial stages, very, very easy to get your message out there.
And let me tell you, all the more reason, hey guys, well, we're going to really do some work over the next period of time on cultivating existing customers.
For sure, definitely.
Because you know what, you already have cut through the noise with them,
and
they're the ones we've really got to cultivate. So let's all get together again in a month's time. Love you to join the upcoming Uplift programs, the women's or the mixed group. They start in May. They start in May. I think the male, the mixed group is on the 16th, and my group is on the 17th of May. So we've still got about 6 weeks till that, but love to see you there. So drop us a line, tell us just say, I'd love you to address this topic, and then put the topic in and we'll look at that. Otherwise, we'll see you next month.
All right, thanks for joining us, and hopefully you've got some value out of tonight. Have a fantastic evening, and again.
Easter.
And Easter, yeah, we're coming up to the Easter, so don't eat too many chocolate eggs out there, but enjoy.
See you next month.
See you next month. See you.